Hi, and welcome to the DIY Photo Organizing Podcast, focusing on topics to help you with your photo management. I am Chantel from Photos in Order.
And I'm Fiona from Photo Helper. Hello, Chantel. How are you?
Hi, Fiona. I'm very good. It's a beautiful autumn day here in Australia, so I love
it.
It is
indeed. It is. And hello to our lovely listeners, wherever you are in the world. Lovely to be back with you for another episode. So before we dive into the topic today, we'd just like to share that we're actually going to have a little bit of a break. We are going far away, but we're not going far from the podcast. But we are going to be having a break between mid-May and mid-July. And would you like to share, Chantel, what you're going to be up to in that time?
Okay. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Very, very exciting. I will go back home to Switzerland for 2 months.
Exciting.
First few weeks by myself. So I'll leave my husband and the kids behind because they've got to go to school. And I can't wait to see my mom and my family, my friends. We've got some travel plans as well, so fingers crossed it all goes to plan. Can't wait to see them after almost 3 years, so very excited.
Long time.
And
so exciting. And lots of photos to be taken, I am sure.
Oh, I'll have to hold back, I tell you.
You might have to listen to a couple of episodes about the backing up when you're traveling.
Yes.
Oh, that's so good. No, don't hold back. Just take as many as you can. You can always delete. I've heard someone say in the past, you can always remove if you've got doubles and things like that.
True. Yes, I'm actually pretty good at that.
That's good.
I've seen too many photos in my life, I think.
Yeah, true.
You tell us.
Yes, so my beautiful husband and I are also on a bit of a traveling trip to see family in the US. So duriing May, we're off to see grandkids, which is very exciting.
Oh.
I know. Oh, can't wait. So yes, we'll be off to the US. We're going to be in Florida and in upstate New York. So lots of photos as well we'll be taking.
Oh. And you with the family, that definitely calls for photos.
Absolutely. So so we will be taking a little bit of a break. So we're just letting you guys know. But we'll be back and we'll keep you up to date with all of those things in the newsletter. But we thought we'll just let you know ahead of time. Mm-hmm. That we're going to be taking a tiny little bit of a break, and then there's obviously a lot of episodes there. If you want to have a flick through on the website, maybe find a few of your favorites, or if you've got a project you've got coming up or you're in the middle of, maybe to have a look back and sort of refresh some of those things. Always a good opportunity to do that. So for today, we are answering a question that's come through from one of our listeners, and they've asked that through our wish list, actually. So on each of the episodes that we have on the website, you'll see at the bottom of each page of each episode, there's an opportunity for our beautiful listeners to be able to ask us any questions, or even just highlight something that they would like to address in a topic. And one of the topics today that has come through is specifically related to the Android phones and how to transfer photos from an Android phone to a computer, either PC or Mac. So that is what we're addressing today. So let's jump in and get going with answering how to do this, and we're going to get some sort of high-level view and some practical things, but there's quite a few different ways to do this. So let's jump in and do that. Do you want to jump first?
I'll jump first.
All right. What are some things to be mindful of before we say what to do when it comes to Androids and transferring photos to the phone.
Yeah. So as you said, we're talking about Androids, and we got to be careful here, because the first thought for us is always it's a Samsung phone. But of course, there's heaps of other brands that will probably operate a bit differently. Unfortunately, we can't go and buy a phone of each brand so that we can test run everything.
Oh, maybe that's a good reason why. Oh, that's an idea. Yeah, you buy it. I'm going to Google. No, okay, sorry, serious.
Yeah, they're a bit too expensive.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So yes, so we're talking Androids in general, but mainly, so from our experience, we have experience with Samsung. And not so many other brands out there. And when we talk about Samsung, and this is something you might or might not be aware of, that they have an internal storage on the phone, but they also come with an actual camera card that you can take out like from any other camera. And some people are not aware of that. And when they transfer photos into their photo hub, they're not aware of that, and they basically forget half of their photos, because some might be stored on the internal phone storage and others might be on the SD card. Where they are being stored depends on your phone settings, and you can change them, of course, but you know, maybe you've already taken like thousands of photos and they go to 2 different places without you knowing. You can change that like from now on, they all go onto the card or all go on into your internal storage. So this is just something to be aware of, and check in your settings and find out, where do my photos actually go? Where do they sit? Because that will influence how you transfer or how easily you transfer your photos. Just something to be aware of. Yeah, what else?
So, and also just on that one, that even with that Samsung 21, that's not the case now. So moving forward, that might be if you've got a new model. So, and obviously with the different types of phones, there's a whole range of different options there. So as we get into some of these newer models of phones, that may stop. As we know, technology changes at an amazing rate. So just be mindful of that the Samsung 21 doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they took out the camera card.
That's right, the SD card, yeah. Yep. And then obviously if you do have the SD card, you need to be able to have a connection to access that if you take it out of your phone, or if you're accessing them wirelessly or with a cable connection. So yeah, just a few of those options. So another thing good to know is that we suggest choosing an option that seems, some of them, might seem the easiest way to go. And most of them are straightforward. But if it's not the right one for you, based on, you don't have access to the computer as much, or the cables, or you prefer to transfer in over wireless, or you're dealing with either work or home, and so you've got some different options. Just there's we're going to go through a number of options. So if you don't like one, try a different way. There's more than one way to tackle this task.
And we just encourage you, as always, to try out things, without committing to the whole thing straight away, not transferring 30,000 photos, but maybe 10, to try something out. If it works for you, if you found the one that you like, choose it, and then write down your own step-by-step process, so that next time you can easily go back to that and you don't have to think, oh, how did I do that again? Write it down for yourself and have your own little checklist for that. I find that's quite helpful. I do that too.
Yeah. And I just want to say on this note, it might seem like, oh, this is such a simple thing. I should be able to just transfer my photos from my phone to the computer. So, please be mindful. Don't be hard on yourself about this, because obviously, we're photo organizers. We're doing a podcast about this. It's actually it should be really a very simple thing, but be kind to yourself, realizing that there's a lot of little intricacies in just a, what could be a simple process. So if it's not working for you, don't feel bad that there's something wrong with you here in this process. It is, it can be a bit tricky sometimes to get it right. So just be patient with yourself, and there's lots of things you can Google, and we'll go through all these options. But reach out if you need some extra steps. But don't just feel like that you're not doing something right if you haven't got it the first time. Yeah, just thought of that, so I thought I'd just encourage you along the way there.
Good.
All right, so let's go through with our first option here. We've got options if we're not using the internet.
Yeah, because some people don't like to use the cloud. We will mention a couple of cloud things later, but let's start with the first one, which is the camera card. If you do, or if your phone has a camera card like an SD card integrated, and your photos are stored on that camera card, the most, or the easiest way really for that is to use it like you do with any other camera card. You take it out the phone, you put it in your computer, and you read your photos from there, and you copy paste them to wherever they have to go into your photo hub. So that's really the easiest, most straightforward way if your phone has a camera card and if all your photos are stored on that.
Yep, exactly.
But you might need a camera a card reader, because these SD cards in the phones, they're obviously tiny. They're not the big ones that you get in the big cameras. So
yep,
you might have to get yourself a card reader for that.
Yep, exactly. So the other way obviously is to plug in a cable from your phone straight into, say, on a PC. This is going to then come up in Windows Explorer, and you'll see a connection come up there as one of your options in the Windows Explorer. So that's just with a regular USB or USB-C cable. And then you can simply copy and paste into your photo hub. Again, photos and videos. And just be mindful again there with your internal phone storage that you need to access there, and whether or not you're going to move them out of those folders on the device, on the SD card or the phone.
Yeah, make sure if you have stored photos on the internal phone storage and the card, that you access both.
Grab both
when you plugged it in. It's easy to see. Just click through all these folders, and you'll find the DCIM, and that's where your photos are stored. So are
they both DCIM on the SD card and the internal storage?
Correct.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right.
So next. Another option when we're talking Android and PC. So your PC comes, every Windows computer comes with an app called Photos. Who would have thought? That's already on your PC. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the app, but it does have a few advantages. And one of the things it does when you connect the phone to your PC, often actually the Photos app opens automatically, and then it guides you through, it says like, do you want to import new photos from your phone? And you can bring them, it copy paste them into your photo hub. So this is another option that you can try. And it's already there, so there's no additional cost involved or anything like that. No downloads, nothing.
Perfect. Again, with that option, just be mindful where they're going, where those photos are going, because it will depend on how you've set up the photos on your PC as to where they sit. So just making sure that they end up pointing into your photo hub, wherever that sits on an external drive or internal.
Yeah.
The next one is if you're using Apple Photos on a Mac and you have, again, we're talking about Android phones. So if we're using this without the internet, then we're plugging in a cable, and making sure that you've got your settings correctly on your phone, that it allows the computer to see your phone and recognize your phone. So in this situation, we're assuming that that's all turned on. And if it's not, then that would be something for you to look into, is the settings. But let's assume that that's turned on correctly on your phone with the settings. You plug it in with a USB connection into your Mac, and then you will see those straight into your Finder. It comes up as a device, so that allows you then to use a few different programs. But if we're talking directly into the Apple Photos here, you'll see it in the photo library, and then you'll see there as a device, and they'll all pop up and you can drag them into the actual program.
Yeah, easy. It sounds very easy. we know, as you said, sometimes, it's in the devil's in the detail, and it's a tiny setting that's not correct, then it doesn't read your phone, but it should be able to read it, and it doesn't check the settings. One information that I found was that if the Mac doesn't recognize your phone and it doesn't come up as a device, that on your phone you most probably have the connection type set up as camera instead of media device. Sorry, I just said it the wrong way around. The wrong way around. It should be set up as camera on your phone in the connection type rather than the media device. If it is set up as a media device, Mac might be unable to read it. So this is that gives you a starting point. If your Android phone doesn't pop up when you connect it to a Mac, that would be the first thing to check. Apple itself, on their websites and stuff, there's much more information on that. But and it's the same way. So if you're using a Mac but not the Apple Photos library, but you just want to import your photos into a folder, into any folder really, you could use the app called Image Capture that comes with every Mac. And what it allows you to do, when you plug in your phone with the USB connection and it reads it, it comes up as a device and you see all your pictures, and you can select which ones you want to transfer, and you copy paste them to wherever location you choose in your Finder structure. So yes, that's how that works on a Mac.
Perfect. All right, so another options we've got is, we've talked about this before in another episode, on episode 46, if this is of interest to you, which is a USB stick that actually goes straight to your phone. So you plug it into your phone, grab the photos off the phone, they go onto the USB stick, and then you plug that into your computer. So that is another option. And as we're going through these options, I really hope that this is giving you some confidence to try something new. Or if you're sitting there or driving or listening to us somewhere thinking, I really need to move those photos off my phone. We really hope that this is encouraging you to give it a try, as maybe a step that you've been looking at doing for some time, but it has felt overwhelming. So that's the USB stick, which is, there's a few different companies out there, ScanDisk, Picture Keeper. So they come in different sizes, and, as far as how many photos you can transfer across, and they're not our personal favorite way of doing things, but it's definitely an option. Definitely an option.
It's not my favorite thing in my everyday life, but when I do travel, I actually like that, and that's what I use to back up my photos along or while I'm traveling, because internet connection, even if you have Wi-Fi in a hotel or wherever, they've got terrible upload speeds. You can, cloud
Yeah.
doesn't work very well. So I always use the stick, and that works like a charm. I really like it for that. Yeah.
Perfect.
But it works for transfer, and they promote those sticks as backup option, which of course, yes, it can be, but at the same time you can use it as transfer. So I find it's easy. They're not expensive. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
So another one, again, for Mac users, there is a very well-known app called Android File Transfer, and it's a free app. You can find it online. You can download. It's it's been around for a long time. It doesn't work wirelessly or through the cloud or anything. It's just that special piece of software that you would need to download, and you can then transfer. Choose and transfer the files, or the photos are part of the files, and you can transfer them easily. And then there's another app that you have experience with, Fiona, haven't you?
Yeah, so that's Smart Switch, and that again, same kind of thing. It's promoted and used as a backup for the phone. Obviously, then the photos are included in that process. And you can also use that to transfer, which has been, again, they come in a folder, the DCIM, and you can transfer that across as well.
And that works for PC and Mac.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's free as well, I think, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And we will put the links in the show notes to these, so you can try them out and give it a go. Maybe it might suit you as well.
Yeah, and just to be upfront, we don't have any affiliation with those companies. Just sharing.
Just sharing.
We're not making any money out of that. Maybe we should.
There we go.
Oh well.
All right.
Look, and just a bit of a word of warning, if we want to put it. Sounds so serious, but there's tons of other apps out there. If you Google for, apps to transfer my photos from Android to computer, you will find there's an endless list of apps. Looking into that whole topic, we have found that, a lot of apps, they sound very attractive and like, oh yeah, that sounds good and it's free and whatnot. And when you start reading reviews, it starts looking a bit different. So, really be a bit careful. There's stuff out there that might not be real, you don't want to risk too much. So be careful, read those reviews, and don't just download any old app just because it pops up on the top of the list.
Yep, exactly. And then just lastly, be mindful if something's not working for you, like I was saying before, we are very aware of that this is a step that can be a stumbling block for people. So just persevere. Some of the things that might trip you up, be mindful of the settings. It could be a cable problem that's not working, get yourself another cable and try again. There might even be an update that's needed either on the phone or in the computer that you're using. That can sometimes be a stumbling block. And so I guess what we're saying is, persevere. These things are common. They happen to us in our own work and practice. They happen with clients, with people that we're coaching and teaching. And, we just see this, in our own families. And, it's common that these kind of things can trip us up. And often, as we've talked about in even the procrastination, with the what we've got on the website, this is one of the things that is often a problem, where there's one little thing and we've tried something and then we've stopped and it becomes overwhelming for us to try again. So hopefully this episode here has been an encouragement for you to push through, look at the settings, look at the cable, look at your phone updates, look at the settings on the phone and the computer, and make sure everything is up to date, and then try something different. if one of these hasn't worked, try something different.
It can be, it can be very frustrating at times. We're the first to admit that.
And when you've got something, like Chantel was saying just before, write it down.
Yes.
Write down somewhere, put a note in your phone, like we've talked about, getting yourself a photo journal to write all your little steps down and things like that. Just capture it somewhere, pop it on a sticky note and stick it on your computer, whatever works. Because if you don't do it regularly, then you'll have to do all that hard thinking all over again.
So to finish it off also, if this all sounds too hard for you, what we haven't mentioned yet, that there is, of course, the option to transfer your photos through the cloud. Now, with an Android phone, obviously you don't get to have the iCloud. But what you have, for example, is Dropbox or OneDrive. If you're an Android user, and possibly also a PC user, chances are pretty high that you're a Microsoft 365 subscriber. And with that subscription comes a 1 terabyte OneDrive cloud storage space. So chances are that you're already paying for that, but you possibly don't use it. So one option for you would be on your Android phone to install the OneDrive app, and then to turn on the camera upload. What that does is every time you take a photo, it will be sent up to OneDrive, and when you have the same settings and installation on your computer, and that can be Mac or PC, doesn't matter, it comes down to your computer and it synchronizes, it sends them down to there, and that's an automatic transfer for you. The only thing you need to consider is if you use OneDrive, it's not happening in the background. So from time to time, you need to actually go into the app, and that will trigger the upload of your latest photos to the cloud. Dropbox works pretty much the same, identical. So if you already have these things, one or even both of those subscriptions, use them for the transfer. And plus it also has the advantage, what I love about those, especially Dropbox and OneDrive, both of them, as they upload you photos, they rename them, they give them the so rather than ending up with files called img_1234 JPEG, you will then have files that have the capture date of the photo in reverse, so year, month, day, and then the time. So it's automatically sorted in chronological order when they download, and I think that's a good thing to have. So this is your easy way out. If all the rest, the manual stuff, sounds too hard, but we know, and it's some clients don't like the cloud, and that's fine, and you don't have to use the cloud. There's always ways, and we presented them today, some of them, how you can transfer without cloud and without internet connection and whatnot. So, but just wanted to add those options for you as well. These are they're great options in my view.
Perfect. That sounds great. Wonderful. So I hope that has really, we hope that's helped you and given you some options and encouragement to do those backup with an Android phone specifically. Wonderful. Well, this isn't our last episode before we do our own little travels. We'll be talking again, but thanks, Chantel, as always, for coming on and the two of us getting together. I love these. I just have to say, I just love being able to share information and encouragement to listeners. So it's been hopefully an informative podcast for everyone. And we've told everyone about that wish list. We'll have all that information on the page. Is there anything else we need to pop through before we go?
No, not really. Just the usual. Look, we'd love to hear feedback. your questions through the wish list. If you want to leave us a review, of course, that's always very welcome. Or if you want to talk one-on-one, just email us and we'll be in touch. Yeah.
Lovely.
Don't forget our courses. So if you need some do-it-yourself assistance and help, there are the courses on our website. Check them out. They're really great, and yeah, we can't recommend them highly enough. So yeah, I think that was it for today.
Lovely. All right. Well, thanks as always. I am Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Photos in Order. Happy photo organizing, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.